FBI DEA raid in Las Vegas nets 3 kilograms pink cocaine and $1.2 million from university president's office.
Las Vegas, Nevada. Before the sun rose over the strip, a quiet scandal inside a respected university began to rip apart at the seams. For years, Nevada University praised its president, Dr. Eleanor Margaret Whitford, a leader celebrated for her dedication to students and her polished reputation. Parents trusted her. Newspapers admired her. She spoke constantly about campus health and student safety. To the outside world, she seemed like everything a modern academic leader should be. But behind that perfect image, something far darker was unfolding. Over the past year and a half, campus medical teams reported a surge in drug-related emergencies among students barely out of high school. The rise wasn't small. It was a staggering 420% spike, all traced to a new synthetic substance known as pink cocaine. Students collapsed in dorms, lecture halls, and crowded hallways. Many nearly died. Yet what disturbed investigators most wasn't just the danger of the drug. It was how easily it moved through the campus. Packages ordered on the dark web arrived directly inside dorm mail rooms, student apartments, and even administrative offices. Each shipment carried the same digital routing signature, one tied to a violent Sinaloa cartel subgroup. When federal analysts reviewed hundreds of purchase logs, every trail circled back to a single location, the administrative offices of Nevada University. And at the center of those offices stood Dr. Whitford herself. What looked like a worrying student trend was actually something far more lethal. A cartel-engineered supply chain operating inside a university parents believed was safe. The deeper agents looked, the more the facade around Whitford began to crack. And soon, the entire empire she built would begin to collapse. As federal agents pushed deeper into the investigation, the image of Nevada University began to shift. What first appeared to be scattered incidents of risky student behavior slowly revealed the outline of a hidden network, one operating quietly inside a respected Las Vegas campus for nearly a year. Teams from the FBI, the DEA, and Homeland Security traced digital payments, scanned campus security logs, and monitored dark web conversations tied to pink cocaine shipments. The patterns were unmistakable. Dr. Whitford wasn't simply overlooking a growing problem. She was orchestrating it. Investigators uncovered that she had recruited 34 students to serve as couriers. These were freshmen, sophomores, and student workers who believed they had been selected for a specialized health distribution program. The phrase came directly from Whitford's office. In reality, it was nothing more than a cover name for drug transport. The students were instructed to deliver small packets disguised as wellness supplies, moving them through dorms, housing complexes, and first-year apartments. Their deliveries blended into everyday campus life so seamlessly that no one thought to question them. But Whitford wasn't alone. 5 senior administrators, people who had worked at the university for years, were caught altering shipping logs, clearing suspicious entries from the mailroom, and diverting packages away from security checks. Their cooperation allowed the operation to grow unchecked. The financial picture was even more startling. Nearly $29 million in cartel money had flowed through the university's innovation funding initiative. On paper, the money looked like scholarships, grants, and campus improvement donations. In reality, it was drug cash being laundered through the school itself. By the time investigators finished mapping the system, one truth became impossible to ignore. Pink cocaine was not spreading by chance. It was being distributed, protected, and inside a federal command post in San Bernardino, the final stage of the operation took shape. A large digital map of Las Vegas glowed with 12 red markers, each one tied to a different piece of Dr. Whitford's underground network. Her office, multiple off-campus research centers, storage buildings registered under her husband's name, and several apartments believed to be distribution hubs. Agents had spent months preparing for this moment. Just before sunrise, coordinated teams from the FBI, DEA, and Homeland Security moved into position across the city. Federal vehicles glided quietly through dim streets, toward the 9th floor of Nevada University's administrative tower. Most students were still asleep, unaware of the storm gathering above them. The raid began with a single, thunderous strike as tactical units breached Whitford's office door. Agents swept in with calm precision. Behind a concealed wall safe, they found exactly what they expected: 3 kilograms of pink cocaine, a high-powered rifle, and more than $1 million in cash stacked in tight bundles. Moments later, the elevator doors slid open and Dr. Whitford stepped out. The instant she saw the agents, she froze. Students heading to early classes stopped in disbelief as the same woman who had delivered countless speeches on student well-being was placed in handcuffs and escorted away. Meanwhile, another team hit a warehouse in Henderson disguised as a youth research lab. What they found inside was far from research. Large blue containers held more than 60 pounds of pink cocaine and over 20 pounds of fentanyl. As agents pushed deeper into the building, 3 cartel runners attempted to flee. One raised a weapon, and the air erupted with gunfire. A flashbang detonated across the concrete floor, lighting the shadows in a burst of white. 2 suspects went down instantly. The third surrendered, coughing and trembling. At a second sight, agents pushed through a narrow hallway in a 4-minute. With the raids complete and the suspects transported to federal vehicles, the real work began. The seizures from Henderson, Paradise, North Las Vegas, and the university offices sketched only the outline of the operation. The deeper structure, the money flow, the inner circle, the hidden approvals, was still buried inside servers, financial ledgers, and encrypted devices. Inside the Las Vegas Federal Analysis Center, a large room lit by blue screens, dozens of analysts worked through the morning. Photographs of seized cash, routing codes, shipment labels, and disguised drug packages covered the walls. Every laptop was cloned, every phone imaged, every message scanned line by line. The first major breakthrough came from the university's own financial system. Nevada University had long celebrated its innovation funding initiative as a tool to support student research and campus upgrades. But federal auditors quickly noticed irregularities. Donations listed as coming from philanthropic groups were actually transfers from a Sinaloa-linked cartel subgroup. Nearly $29 million had been laundered through the fund, appearing publicly as scholarships, wellness grants, and facility improvements. 2 nonprofits connected to the university raised even more alarms. Both claimed to promote mental health awareness, but neither had real offices, staff records, or active programs. Their only function was turning cartel money into clean, respectable funding. Then investigators moved on to the off-campus properties. 3 research centers and 2 storage buildings were all registered under the name of Whitford's husband, Mayor Thomas Vega. City planning documents showed that several approvals had bypassed normal review procedures. Signatures from the mayor's office appeared on forms that should have required safety inspections. These locations were being used to store bulk drugs and stage deliveries disguised as wellness supplies. By the time agents finished mapping, as the investigation widened, federal agents realized the dawn raids were only the beginning. Stopping the flow of drugs was crucial, but uncovering every insider who kept the system alive was just as important. This phase would be quieter, slower, and far more painful for those involved. By mid-morning, teams from the FBI and DHS entered the administrative wings of Nevada University. There were no dramatic breaches now, just agents walking calmly down hallways decorated with framed awards and cheerful student posters. Offices that once handled scholarships and planning documents were suddenly treated as crime scenes. 5 senior administrators, the same individuals who had erased shipping logs and manipulated mailroom data, were escorted from their offices without resistance. Each had worked closely with Whitford for years. Each had signed off on documents that made cartel shipments appear routine. Their desks were filled with staff memos, student files, travel forms, and in several cases, envelopes of cash tucked behind drawers. Across campus, investigators opened an evidence locker belonging to the wellness department. Inside were sealed packages, tracking labels, and digital receipts confirming what many feared. The department designed to protect students had been turned into a distribution channel. Meanwhile, dozens of students who had unknowingly acted as couriers were interviewed. Many sat across from agents with shaking hands, insisting they believed they were helping with a health outreach program. They thought the packets they carried were supplements or medical kits. Several broke down when shown the truth. The fallout spread beyond the university. City investigators entered municipal offices connected to Mayor Thomas Vega. Filing cabinets were opened, zoning approvals were examined, and contracts were pulled apart line by line. The pattern matched what federal agents already suspected. Vega had quietly approved buildings that were, in reality, cartel. When the sun finally set over Las Vegas that day, the raids were done, the offices were sealed, and the suspects were in custody. But no one in the Federal Command Center felt victorious. They had removed the head of the operation, yet what remained was far heavier. The damage the network had inflicted on an entire generation of young people. The investigation confirmed the operation had been active for 18 months. During that time, more than 11,000 students across 4 counties lived or studied in environments affected by Whitford's network. Not every student used pink cocaine, but thousands had walked past couriers in dorm hallways, shared classrooms with them, or lived in buildings where cartel shipments were quietly dropped off. The environment had been poisoned long before anyone realized it. Agents now shifted to the next phase, understanding how far the system had spread beyond Nevada University. Many seized devices contained conversations between students at other Las Vegas campuses, questions about packages, comments about delivery times, references to wellness kits that used the same misleading phrasing Whitford's office had invented. Nothing proved a wider coordinated network yet, but the fragments were troubling. Then came a financial review. The $28 million funneled through Nevada University was only the part investigators could fully confirm. Several unexplained transfers suggested that other institutions, community colleges, private academies, and small research centers might also have unknowingly received laundered funds. Every suspicious transaction would now require a slow, meticulous audit. The community reacted with disbelief. Town hall meetings filled with parents and older residents who had watched the news in shock. Many demanded answers. Some asked how no one saw the signs. Others wondered how a university leader could deceive so many people for so long. But the most painful stories came from students who owe. As investigators reviewed every new lead, one reality began to rise above all the evidence. This wasn't just a crime. It was a betrayal carried out from behind a desk, under the banner of education, by people trusted every single day. The silence that settled over Las Vegas after the raids felt heavier than the gunfire that preceded it. Parents had sent their children to a university they believed was safe. They believed in the polished speeches, the awards proudly displayed on office walls, the promises of care and wellness. All the while, a cartel network was quietly expanding under those very promises. Not in alleyways or abandoned buildings, but inside dorms, mailrooms, offices, and programs meant to... If you're here right now, listening to this story, absorbing every detail, and following the threads of corruption, power, and hidden networks, then you already understand what makes Singal Insider different. This channel isn't just entertainment. It isn't just storytelling. It is a deep dive into the hidden forces shaping the world around us. Forces that most people never see or never question until it's too late. And that's why your support matters more than you realize. Every investigation we bring to you, every breakdown, every hidden connection, every inside detail is built to reveal what's happening behind the curtain. Most people walk through life trusting systems, trusting institutions, trusting names and titles without ever looking underneath. But here at Singal Insider, we do the opposite. We lift the curtain. We turn the lights on. We expose what others avoid. And we do it for one reason, because the truth matters. But the truth only spreads when people make it spread. That's why your single action, your like, your comment, your share, your subscription has a far bigger impact than you might think. When you hit that like button, the algorithm pushes this investigation further. When you comment, the platform recognizes that people care about this story. When you share it, you become part of the mission to make sure these events never stay buried. And when you subscribe, you become part of a growing community committed to awareness, clarity, and vigilance. The world we live in today moves fast. Information is everywhere, yet true understanding is rare. Rumors spread faster than facts. Outrage spreads faster than truth. And corruption spreads fastest when no one is watching. But here, on this channel, you're choosing to watch. You're choosing to think deeper. You're choosing to stay informed rather than accepting the polished version of reality that institutions want you to believe. That choice alone makes you part of something powerful. So let me speak.